Hello everyone, and welcome back to this video series I'm doing about becoming a pro-life activist and the various ventures and lessons I learned along the way. And this is episode 4, where I'm going to be talking a bit about an experience I had in 2019 when I went to the March for Life in DC. This was my second March for Life, and I was a Wilberforce Fellow with Students for Life of America, and my fellowship project was on trying to create pro-life murals near or on pregnancy resource centers or near abortion clinics to pretty much just create visibility for the life-saving resources of pregnancy centers and make women who may be going into these clinics feel like someone cares about them and that there's resources for them, there's support for them through the beauty of art and the beauty of sharing a message with something besides words. And so, because of this fellowship and because of this project, I was given the opportunity to go to a pro-life roundtable with the Vice President of the United States, at the time, Mike Pence, and it was at the White House, and so I went there, and it was just a phenomenal experience. The whole day was just chaotic. I arrived late. My flight was late, and I had to run across the city, basically taking metros and Ubers and running through the streets chaotically, trying to get to the White House in time for this roundtable. And I ended up being late to it, and I had to go in by myself. And as I was approaching the security entrance, with all the Secret Service and everybody, there was some issues with trying to get in, could I get in if I was late, that kind of thing. And Dan Crenshaw actually came by, and I was able to meet him and talk to him about why I was there. And he kind of was able to get me in, and then we walked together to the building where Mike Pence was doing this roundtable. And it was just amazing timing that this happened and that I was able to talk to him about my mission work and what I was doing there and why it mattered to me. And then he had to leave to go actually meet the President of the United States a few buildings down, or a few doors down. I was this close to asking, can I just come along, can I just tag along and meet the president? But I held back. Anyways, and so after he left, I was kind of lost. So I got lost in the White House trying to figure out where on earth I was supposed to be, and there's no one around, and I just felt like a criminal because there's these Secret Service, snipers on top of the buildings, and I'm just this random girl walking around looking very lost. Anyways, so after this point, I met a few different people along the way who helped me get up to where I needed to be. And I sat in the back of this round table. There was a place for me at the actual table, but because I was late, I couldn't actually sit there. And so it was kind of cool because I had a backseat, literal and metaphorical, perspective of this event. And so I was able to kind of listen more to what was happening as opposed to being a direct contributor. And so I heard from all these different students about their missions and their projects and what they wanted to do to see the end to abortion in their lifetime. And the real takeaway that I want to talk about from this event that I was able to go to, that I was absolutely blessed to be able to go to, was what the Vice President spoke on to us at the end of this. He spoke on this idea of always showing up. That was his mantra. Show up. And he wanted to make sure that we knew that was how he got to where he was today, where he was at the time, and the position that he was in. He wanted to make sure that we knew that you didn't necessarily have to be a special person or, this to be seen as such a special person to have a special role and to make special things happen. You just had to be there. You just have to be present. You have to put in the work. You have to say yes to the opportunities, and you can't back down when things get hard. And it doesn't take a special person to do that. It just takes someone who's called, someone who knows their calling from Christ, knows their calling to a mission bigger than themselves, and they don't say no in the face of persecution or backlash or just general dislike from the general public. And I loved this message, the way he said it. He was just such a genuine, he's just such a genuine guy. And talking to him one-on-one was also just absolutely incredible. He signed my name card, and he wrote, "Keep painting for life." And remember that, because that will come up in a future episode when I talk about painting for life. But yeah, it was absolutely amazing getting to hear him share his journey and how he got to the point where he was, and his values mostly. And just the fact that, like, even in such a high level of power and just such a high office, he's able to continue sharing and embodying the beauty of his Catholic faith. And he refused, and he wanted to make sure we knew, to refuse to give up your values because the public or the society that's telling you, you have to give them up in order to be a good leader, or you have to give them up in order to be a good politician. And the opposite is true. The opposite is true. When we stay true to our values, stay true to who we are, true to who we are in Christ, we can't go wrong. And so, all of this to talk mostly about this takeaway message of showing up. And up until the point of this event, I kind of already looked at my activism that way. I kind of already was like saying yes to everything, going on these different activism trips and mission trips and things like that. But hearing him talk about showing up made me realize that I need to commit myself fully to this. If I'm going to take the mission of abolishing abortion in my lifetime seriously, I truly need to show up. And when we think about showing up, don't just think of like physically showing up, like, oh, I'm here, I'm at the event, hi, I signed in, all that, checking boxes. No, showing up means, yeah, show up to the rallies, show up to the events, show up to the pro-life club meetings, show up to whatever. But it's also showing up mentally, emotionally, and spiritually for other people. It means showing up for the pregnant mother, the pregnant mother who is going through an unplanned pregnancy and just needs someone. They just need someone to listen to them. It's showing up for sidewalk counseling so that you can reach those pregnant women that you may not know yet. It's showing up for the difficult conversations that you're going to have with people about abortion. And it's continuing to stick around to make sure that you see it through and that you see a mind and heart change. And it's just showing up from a perspective of love towards all humankind. And so I wanted to see the bigger picture with what the vice president was telling us. I wanted to see how what he was saying could impact me and the people that I came across throughout the rest of my activism career. I didn't want to let that story that he told us go away. I didn't want to get rid of that mantra in my head, because I knew how important it is, and I knew that it would continue to be important. And so that is the story of how I was able to meet Vice President of the United States of America, and it was definitely life-changing and such a fantastic opportunity. And I hope that sharing the message that he shared with me and he shared with us, the students, the pro-life students who were there, with all of you, can help to inspire you as well to make sure that whatever you do in this movement, however you're called, whatever unique path that you choose to take to help end the greatest human rights injustice of our time, to always remember to show up physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, for not just yourself, but for the people around you, for the preborn, and for those who don't have a voice, who need your voice in order to live. And so, that being said, thank you all so much for listening, and please stay tuned for episode 5, where I continue expanding on this wild journey that I've had in the pro-life movement, and hopefully offer some insight to all of you about some things you can take away and take with you on your pro-life activist journey. Thanks for watching.